Welcome back to the shop. My name is Brian with Airbags Unlimited, LLC. Today, we are going to be calibrating a pre-collision radar sensor on a 2019 Nissan Sentra. The vehicle was involved in a front collision. The body shop had to replace the bumper cover, lights, grille, and the actual radar sensor and bracket. The radar sensor is right here, and the bracket mounts up to the rebar. Then the sensor mounts to the bracket. So we're going to be calibrating this today. What has to happen in this situation? A couple of requirements before we get started. The shop already did a front end alignment. We have to make sure the vehicle is proper and true as far as the alignment and the steering angle sensor. They made sure that the fuel level in the vehicle was almost full or above 3/4 for the balance. We're going to go in and check the tire pressure here in just a second. The tire pressure label on most vehicles, most newer vehicles, is on the driver's side door jamb. This particular vehicle is going to be 33 PSI requirements for the front and rear. So we'll do that here in a second. I already hooked up our tablet, pulled the remaining codes. We did a pre-scan on this whenever it first went into the body shop, just to see what codes were existing. And then we'll do a final code clear once we're done with the pre-collision and testing of the ADAS pre-collision sensor. I think Nissan calls it the ICC, Intelligent Cruise Control Sensor. A lot of manufacturers have their different acronyms for it, but this particular one is ICC. So let's check the tire pressure, and we'll get right into this calibration. Okay, finishing up with the tire pressure check. All of them were a little bit over. I'm going to drain a little bit out of here. I like this particular air gauge and inflator that I use. It's a digital one, so it gives me pretty accurate reading. Just easy to use. Good to have in my tool bag whenever I'm out on location if I need to check tire pressure. So we are good now on all 4 tires. Let's check out the sensor and see what we need to do with the front bumper cover. I have a feeling we're going to have to remove it to adjust it, but let's find out. Okay, upon further inspection, we were able to find an access point that Nissan leaves open in the top of the radiator cover that goes all the way down to the back of the sensor. It's kind of hard to see, but I had to get some extra extensions and a star bit that fit the appropriate adjustment screw. So now we're lined up. Whenever we're ready, we have our tool set up. We'll be able to adjust it from the top. We'll see if it works that way without having to remove the whole bumper cover. So let's get on to squaring the calibration machine, getting the pod set up, and we'll show you how that works. Okay, what we're doing now, next step is getting the calibration frame machine sliding plate. I have the laser turned on. It's pointing at the sensor. We need to measure it and get it about 51 inches, which is about 51 3/4 now. I need to go another 1/2 inch up. So we're just going to bump it up just a little bit. Laser's still in the center, so let's just see how close we are. Okay, a little bit too close. We're going to come back just a smidge. And we'll have to re-square it once we put the wheel pods on. Okay, there we go. So we're right there. I'm going to click the laser off just to save batteries on our laser. Let's check the computer. Okay. Now this is where we need to get it matching the height of the center point of the wheels, which is 12 inches. So this goes back to the center. we are going to double check. Let's see where the light's at. Okay, that's about center, but we need to double check the distance from the sensor to the guiding plate just to be safe. Yeah, just a smidgen too close. Let's get it back right. All these measurements are necessary before we start calibrating. Okay. And that is back center. Okay, now what we want to do is make sure the machine is too high right now. We need to bring it down to 12 inches. So I'm just going to hit the little power button, drop it down to 12 inches in the middle of our crossbar. Okay. Okay, now this is where we get to measure, use our additional tape measures here. We're going to bring them to approximately center. Of the wheel on each side. So this one's right there. And let's see what measurement we have. 58. Right at 87 inches, 87.25 inches on that side. So now we're going to have to match this side. I'll pull out 87.25. Right about there, that matches that side. Let's see how close we are. Okay, we're about 1.25 inches off. So now with these tape measures out, we are going to adjust just a little bit. Let's see. That one's still just a smidgen off. Let's see where we're at on this side real quick. This side's right on. So we're going to pull this side back just a little bit. Right there. All right, now we're money on that measurement. Before we lock down the base, we got to make sure that this preliminary measurement and this one's right in the middle. Okay, we're good now on the calibration crossbar matching. Okay, we have now made it through the procedure of setting up the center point of the left front wheel and the center point of the right front wheel equidistant from those points to the crossbar. Now, next step is getting our wheel clamps, attaching them to the rear wheels, left rear and right rear wheels. This is what's going to help confirm that there's no suspension damage on the rear, that the vehicle is square and true to the calibration frame machine. So, next step, let's go ahead and get our wheel clamps, which are over here. Let me grab them. have them ready to go. Special little protector caps on the ends. We'll do the left side first. These are smaller wheels on this vehicle. Last one I did had 20-inch wheels, so I'm going to have to tighten up the clamps here real quick. And you want to get them, you don't have to do it real tight, just kind of get them snug. What happens is this is adjustable where the laser's on. So if I click a switch, the laser's on, and I actually have it pointing at the target board, the red numbered measurement cap right there, and I'll move it up and down just a little bit just to show you I'm in control of this up and down function at this part. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I'm going to grab the other clamp for the right rear wheel. And you won't have them turned on too long for the lasers. I haven't had to replace the batteries yet, and I've used it quite a few times. So let me get this one prepared for the right side. I want to make sure the little clamps get just so, and just gently tighten it and it'll hold automatically. I'm going to click this laser on and point it just to see, make sure we're kind of in the same spot. And I can go down, I can go up and get it right about there. Turn it off for a second. Let me grab the tablet. We'll see what is next. Okay, just what I thought. I've done quite a few, but I like going through just to make sure we have everything just right. I am going to turn the lasers on. And then we're going to adjust the crossbar horizontally just to make sure that the lasers are going to be in the same distance, the same measurements. So we're off a little bit. Here we go. We need to go about, so it's midway between 200 and 150. This one's right on 200. So let's go back a little bit. This one is 2 bars to the left. So we're at 190 over here, and that one's 195, so we're going to come back just a tad. One, 2, 3.5. Whoops. So 1, 2, between the second and third bar. Between the second and third bar. Okay, we are equal now on this measurement. So we're going to see what the computer tells us to do next. Make sure I don't stand in the way of the laser just like that. Okay, now this is where we're going to open up the flaps on our crossbar, and the lasers are actually going to reflect off the mirror, and we'll have to use the target boards back on the wheel clamps to adjust, to fine-tune the lasers. So let's see how far we can get this laser up. We'll probably have to adjust the crossbar a little bit because we need to get the lasers to reflect back onto the board. So we're going to lift our bar a little bit. Then we're going to come back and adjust these little lasers. Let's see where this one is now. Still a little bit low. I see it down here on my shoe, so we're going to have to lift the crossbar just a little bit more. And then we'll adjust the other side. Once we get this laser on the target board, we will go and adjust the other side. I see it right here. Let me go up a little bit more. Now we should be close to it being up here on the target board, or, okay, there we go. Now as you can see, it's right here on the target board. That's what we're looking for. Let me check this side real quick. We'll see where this guy's at. Okay, very close. I'm going to have to adjust the target, adjust the crossbar just a tad to make sure that we are going to be equal. Let's see, here we go. Go ahead and keep your eye on that target board and watch this. It'll come up to the corner here, right there. So we're going to leave it right there for just a second. See where this guy's at. That one is almost close. All I'm doing is adjusting the target board right now. Okay. So, come over to this side. This is where we need the target, and you can cross over in front of the laser. There you go. Thank you, Miss Kiki. That is what we need right there. And I'm going to check the computer. And this just kind of gives you an idea of the diagram they have set up on the auto. Okay, that's what we needed. What we're going to do now, we can click off the lasers and close the mirrors on the calibration machine. So according to the computer, according to the lasers, thank you, Kiki. According to the lasers, according to the computer, as it sits right now, this calibration frame machine is set up exactly how we need it to go into the next phase, which is actually calibrating the sensor. So we will exit. And I don't want to run, we want to make sure that the battery on the vehicle is charged. So it's got a good charge on it right now. I have the ignition off. You can go into the setup mode. Once you get into it, you can click off the ignition just to save the battery while we're doing the setup. But the next step we need is going to be for our Autel reflector, which is CSC0602. And I'll show you how to do that right now. It actually, pretty slick system. It actually clicks onto the, let me get our box down here. It actually clicks onto the frame machine very easily. We keep it in here so it's protected. Try not to touch the mirror itself. It's got a handle on the back and some adjustment knobs. We're just going to walk right over here. Literally just like that. So that's going to be our main reflector that we're using for this pre-collision sensor. So let's get our machine back over here. It wants us to start with the number 2. There's 3 positions on here, 1, 2, and 3. It wants us to start with number 2 in the up position, which it is. So we'll go to the next requirement. Okay, now we are going to square the machine, and the Spirit, it's got level adjustments built in that we're going to come in and actually adjust here in just a second. So that means this one needs to go up. Okay, we're going to go with that right there. Okay. Now, we do have what's called mini reflectors. Let me see if this one's got it. Okay, some of them come with a separate mirror. This one does not. Let's make sure Ken, the body man, has this clicked in. The Molex plug is in. Looks like everything's adjusted. All right, we need a mini reflector. I'm going to have to get a new mini reflector, which is right here. They send you quite a few. All these multiple little mini reflectors. I've used 2 on quite a few vehicles. I don't remember where I set the last one. I'll have to check. But it might be on my roller cart, or it might be stuck up here. This one is one off an Audi, just to give you an idea. This is one that I replaced on a vehicle a while back. This is a damaged one. But you see there's a little mirror up here in the top right corner. That is just for adjustment purposes when it goes into the shop. This one's a little bit easier to adjust. You just click the cover off and you have your adjustment screws right there. The one on this Nissan's a little bit different. So here we go. We are going to get this little mirror mini reflector ready to go here once I get the cover off. Okay. So there we go. Temporarily, we're just going to stick it right there. Okay. So this is where we get to start with our laser. And we're going to drop it down until it's on that reflected little mini reflector on the sensor. Almost there. Okay. I'm going to move it back center. So we are almost there. Looks like we're there. I'm going to crank it down just a little bit, crank it up. Okay. Now, since we moved, we are going to adjust it just a little bit. There. Now the Spirit's back center. It gave us a note in here, make sure if the bubble shifts to just reposition it. Adjust the sensor bolt, aim the laser on the reflector at the target. So what we're going to try and do is get it. We have to adjust the laser. Let's see where it's at on the board. It's kind of hard to see sometimes. I'm going to turn my light off. We've got to adjust it. There we go. Okay, it's hard to see. We're almost there. The reflected laser is actually right at my fingertip. It's in the top left quadrant, right there. So what we're going to do, let's see if we can move this just a little bit, if that matters. Barely. Okay, now this is where we're going to use our tool up here on the radiator cover that goes through down to the actual laser. I'm going to turn an adjustment screw, and you'll see that it barely kind of starts to move a little bit. And it's going to go right there on the line. Almost all the way. Okay, that's where we want it right there. Now, I'm going to have to see if there's any other adjustments available on this reflector, on this radar sensor. And right now, that is the only one. So, we got to see. Let's see if we can get it. We're going to get it as close as possible. What we want to see, okay, it's up. I've got to kind of see what it's going to be with the weight off of it. Okay. Okay, we're going to try it right there first. Okay, now that we've done the preliminary adjustment with the mini reflector, what we're going to have to do now is remove the mini reflector, and then we're going to adjust the knobs on the actual mirror. Let me set this over to the side. Okay. Now, the computer's asking for us to make sure that position 1 is up. We'll hit OK. The ignition has to be on during this process. Now we're going to go to position 2. Hit OK. It's going to give us a reading. Now we're going to go to number 3 and get an additional reading. Now, since we set everything up pretty accurate, we got lucky. Our first attempt to do the final calibration is complete. The tablet accepted our up and down adjustment and our left and right adjustment. Everything's in tolerance. So now, we go back to our main screen. No faults on the ADAS calibration process. The sensor is calibrated. What we're going to do is go back into the main menu, go ahead and do a final post scan for the body shop so that they have records. It's going to show the adjustments, the measurements, and the degrees of angle for their records and for the insurance company. So whenever they need to see it, boom, it's right there. We'll email this to them in a little while. Now, once we're done with this part, we will, of course, test drive the vehicle. Make sure we're safe distances from other vehicles on the freeway, but test it so that we know we can ensure that it's working properly, that the intelligent cruise control is alerting, braking, and accelerating as it should. So let's do this. There are some additional codes on here. We'll go in and clear the additional codes also. Make records of it for the shop. And we'll get ready for a test drive. We just finished test driving this 2019 Nissan Sentra. The intelligent cruise control sensor is now working properly. The calibration was smooth. It's now back to pre-accident condition. If you have any questions about this project that we just finished, any other of our videos, send a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you can see all of our upcoming videos and projects that we're working on. We appreciate all your support. We like what we do here. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Have a nice day.